How do you have real power over a woman? How do you always have the upper hand? Well, the answer will surprise you because it has nothing to do with her and everything to do with you. I'll explain your number one source of power over any woman in this video. Hi, I'm Bobby Rio, and when we talk about relationships with women, true power is the control you have over yourself, not her. The more power you have over yourself, the more power you have over women. I'll explain what I mean in a second. It took me a long time to figure this out, and I used to search out lines to say and things I could do to attract a girl or tactics to make her want me more. And now that I've been coaching men for the past 13 years, I see the same thing where guys come to me looking for the things they can do to gain that upper hand over a woman. And what I didn't realize, and what these guys don't realize, is that when you have control over yourself, when you can control your emotions, you can control your behavior, your reactions, you automatically gain control over others. So let me take a step back and talk about what I mean by power or upper hand, or as George Costanza called it back in Seinfeld, the hand. Why don't I ever have the hand with women? See, the balance of power always swings in one person's favor. And that person is the one who is least attached to the outcome, period. The person who is least attached to the outcome will always have the power because you become uncontrollable. And the other person realizes it very quickly. And guess what? Women are drawn to men who are not easily controlled. So I want to give you 5 ways to harness this power over yourself to make women naturally chase you and gravitate towards you. So first is the power to not react, to be non-reactive. What do I mean? What I mean is that when we get frazzled, we make bad decisions and our weakness comes out. And what's worse is that women instinctively know this, so they purposely try to rattle us. This is why women will test men. We've all heard women test men, and this is why. So as an example, if you're out on a date with a woman and she looks at you and she says, you know, you would look better without a beard. I don't know why guys have beards. This is a test, right? In that moment, if you react, you hand her all the power. If you say, really, I like my beard a lot, women like it, Ben Affleck has a beard, and you do things to try to convince her or explain your choice, you're reacting and you're showing her that she has control over you. And you're doing this because you don't have control over yourself. You're reacting instead of acting from a place of control. So if a girl says you would look better without a beard, how should you handle it? What should you say? Simply say, thanks for the advice, smile, and move on. That's non-reactive. Another example of reacting is when maybe you're dating a girl and she's been flaky, unresponsive, right? And then she finally messages you. And you kind of know you shouldn't text her back right away, but you can't help it. You don't have control over yourself, so you immediately reply, even though you kind of know you shouldn't. Again, it's the power and control you have over yourself that wins you the game, not the power you have over her. So next is, and this is a big one, controlling your fear of losing her. One of the reasons that we tend to give away so much power is because we are afraid of losing a girl, so we play it really safe. We watch what we say around her. We don't go for the kiss because we think she might think it's too soon. We agree with her even when we disagree. And we do this just so she'll like us. We don't want to lose her, so we start to change a lot of things about ourselves, about our behavior, to avoid doing anything that's gonna, turn her off or make her angry. But guess what? You're turning her off by turning off your real personality. Because you don't have control of this fear of losing her, you wind up being too available, too nice, too afraid to say no to her, too willing to tolerate her crappy behavior. But if you had control over that fear of losing her, all these mistakes, this unattractive behavior of yours would instantly disappear, and you'd have a whole lot more power in the relationship between the two of you. So here's another example of what this looks like. So imagine that you've been dating this woman and things are going well, but you're out with a few of your friends one night and your friends start talking about how all these girls are on Tinder now and every girl is juggling 5 guys and they're all sleeping around. And when you hear this, you start panicking, right? You get scared, fear takes over, and you think, man, she's gonna forget about me, or worse, maybe she's with another guy right now, right? That fear takes over. So instead of enjoying your guys' night out with your friends, you wind up texting her just to check in, just to make sure that she doesn't forget about you. So why are you really texting her? Because you need reassurance. That is the definition of being a needy guy, the need for reassurance. And that comes from fear of loss. Here's the next one though, the power to not deviate for her. This means she's part of your life, but she's not your entire life. So imagine there's a woman you're dating and you do really like her. And one day you get a message from her and she's like, hey, can you hang out Sunday night? But you had already told your dad that you were gonna watch the football game with him on Sunday night. Now, your dad would understand if you canceled on him. So it's easy to rationalize or to justify canceling. But once you do, you're deviating your life for her, which she might enjoy at first. She's gonna be kind of happy, but eventually it becomes a very unattractive quality to her. Why? Because she realizes she 100% has you. See, it's not about playing games or pretending you don't like her. It's simply about having control and power over yourself, being able to delay gratification. It's really like this with everything, right? Getting in shape or losing weight. It's way more about the control you have over yourself than it is about exercise or diet, right? You're never gonna lose weight if you don't have that control over yourself. Well, it's the same with dating. So how else do you gain control over yourself? Number 4 is you have to be comfortable in the gray area. You have to be okay with uncertainty, with not knowing how it's gonna end up. See, there's never a guarantee everything will work out. When you walk up and you approach a woman for the first time, she may reject you. She may tell you she has a boyfriend. When you're dating a girl, she may get back with her ex-boyfriend. She may decide that you're not her type. These are things you don't have much control over. So you have to give up your need to control the outcome. When you start dating a new woman, right? You have to just say to yourself, this may or may not work out, but either way, I'm gonna do my best to enjoy the experience, to enjoy the time that I have, to learn from it. I'm gonna be curious about her. I'm gonna try to get to know her. I'm gonna enjoy my time with her. And if it doesn't go anywhere, that's okay. I'll survive with her, I'll survive without her. See, a lot of neediness stems from being uncomfortable in that gray area where you're not sure where you stand with her. So what happens, right? You try to lock things down as quickly as possible because you wanna know, you wanna solidify it so that you can relax. But the more comfortable you are with that uncertainty, the more attractive you become to women. Because again, they see you as a guy who they can't control. Okay, next is the abundance mentality. And you have to have options. This is really important because it's really hard to have this control over yourself when you live in a scarcity mindset. When you think she's the only girl who will like me. When you think like that, it's impossible to be unattached to the outcome. Now, the more options you have, the more power and control you have over yourself naturally. It just happens, right? The fact is, women themselves have a lot of options, and that's partly what scares us. And the truth is, though, that we have just as many options, and this scares a lot of women. It still surprises me when I'm working with a client and he tells me that, I don't know where to meet girls, and I'm like, you're not on dating sites? And he's like, no, because I'm like, it's so much easier to make the right move when you have options. And it's so much easier to have control over yourself when you're talking to a lot of different women, right? Not texting a woman back when you have 4 or 5 you're talking to is a lot easier. If you haven't watched the video yet, my friend Rob Judge, he's literally the master at dating apps, but he's got a video called endofmen.com, End of Men, I'll link to it here, endofmen.com. Make sure you watch it because you have to be on dating apps, whether you want to or not. Nowadays, you absolutely have to be on dating apps. Even if you don't want to be, you have to be, because literally almost every woman you meet will be on these sites. There's not one woman you're gonna meet that's not on at least a few of them. And you wanna be on these sites, A, because you will meet more women. I mean, my clients, these are guys in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I mean, these guys are killing it on sites like Tinder and Bumble and Hinge. And all that does is it comes down to you presenting yourself the right way and all that sort of stuff. And that's what Rob talks about in endofmen.com. You should watch that video. You got to be on these sites, though, because it fosters this abundant mentality. And having an abundant mentality, right? Having this abundant mentality eliminates your fear of losing her. It makes you less likely to react. It makes you less likely to deviate. And it makes you a whole lot more comfortable in this gray area of not knowing what's going to happen because you know you're going to be all right. And ultimately, that's how you have power over yourself, which in turn gives you power over women. Like I said, if you haven't watched Rob's video on dating apps, you really need to watch that because it really surprises me how many guys feel like they have no options, which in turn causes them to make all these mistakes, right? The video is at endofmen.com. I know it's a gloomy URL, but trust me, you'll want to watch this, endofmen.com. Now, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment below, and let me know what else you'd like to see me cover in future videos.